All right, people of YouTube. It's actually been a little bit since I did one of these more topical videos. Mainly just gameplay from me. That's the easiest thing for me to do. But this is a special occasion. It has today, as I'm recording this, been 2 years since I created my channel here on YouTube, and the day this uploads will be 2 years since I started uploading to the channel, which is kind of crazy. It's been fast. 2 years came out of nowhere. But that's basically the topic of this video, essentially. I ran a poll asking what you guys wanted to see for my 2-year video. Let me just check first real quick. Yeah, the winner by a very large margin was a Titanfall 3 discussion video. Obviously, since there's no formal announcement from Respawn, it's not confirmed that it's coming, but I mean, it's basically coming. I mean, they have been, talking about how they have, multiple games in development, one of them being the Titanfall team. It's kind of a given at this point that it's Titanfall. So yeah, the winner of the poll was the Titanfall 3 discussion video, which will move me down to my next point. I kind of have a list here of things that I wanted to talk about. That way I could not get sidetracked and get off topic like I usually do, like I'm doing right now actually. But yeah, Titanfall 3. I think the first most important thing that we should talk about, or at least speculate, would be release date. In my brain, since the beginning of this year, and I might want to specify time of recording just in case, it is, November 15th, 2018, just in case somebody comes back 2 years from now and they're like, Titanfall 3's already happened, da, da, da. Anyway, yeah, the beginning of this year, my thought was, if we didn't see a Titanfall 3 trailer, or we didn't get an announcement or anything like that by the Game Awards of this year, which is, I think, in like 3 weeks from now, then it wouldn't be coming until at least early 2020. I still kind of believe that to be true. Even though I believe multiple sources came out and said that Respawn could be releasing more than one title next year. We know the Star Wars project is supposed to come out, holiday next year. But apparently there could be more than one title. Problem with that is with their 3 different teams that they have working on 3 different games. It could also be that the VR project that they're working on. So who knows? It's really just a guessing game at this point. But yeah, if we don't see anything at the Game Awards, or at least by the end of the year, I wouldn't expect it until early 2018, or 2020, Jesus. Probably, I don't know, April 2020 would be the earliest if we don't see it by the end of the year. I could just be completely wrong. They could come out, at the Game Awards, or whenever, really. They can announce it whenever they want to, but the Game Awards happen to be in LA, is, if you don't know, like really close to where they're stationed, so it would make sense. But who knows? It could come out at the Game Awards and say, hey, early 2019, which would be nice. That would be phenomenal, but chances are not gonna happen. So I think the next point I wanted to get into was gonna be speculation for features, for, you know, story and multiplayer and that kind of thing. I do fully expect them to have a full single-player story mode experience. I don't think that's going to go away. I think the success of the story mode that they put into the second, or to the new game anyway. Well, new quotations, 2 years old by now. But anyway, I mean, I haven't heard one person say a single bad thing about it. Well, the general consensus is that it's a really good campaign, but I'll leave it at. So I don't think they'll go away from that. I think they'll add on to the story that, you know, came to a conclusion at the end of the second game. I think it will be a direct sequel with the same characters, same factions, all that stuff. I know. Can't recall his name. One of the bad guys, one of the mercenary guys. Why can't I remember his name? Anyway, he survived at the end of the story, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't see any reason why they would just leave that on, like, loose end. I think they would tie that up in the next story. Probably being the main villain of the next one. I do expect it to be longer. I can't exactly recall how long it is, but I think it took me about 6 hours, which is, I think it's pretty standard for FPS games for their multiplayers, or single players. But I do expect it to be a little bit longer. I think now that they have a good foundation to build off of, I think they can make it pretty great. They can definitely do some pretty great things with their level design and world building. That's proven at this point. But I think that's it for the speculation for single player, because I mean that's all speculation. We don't even know if they're gonna do a story mode. So I think the main point of this would be multiplayer, which obviously, if and when Titanfall 3 does come out, multiplayer is going to be the main focus. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody. I do think it will be similar to Titanfall 2's multiplayer. I think it will have a little bit more depth as far as Titans go. I think there are 7 Titans right now. The Ion, Scorch, Northstar, Ronin, Tone, Legion, Monarch. 7, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think there'll be more Titans somehow. I think they could bring some Titans from Titanfall 1. They could do some of the ones that were in the story mode for Titanfall 2 that weren't in multiplayer. I do think there's a lot of room for added depth in multiplayer for Titanfall 3 as far as Titans go. I do expect to see more weapons. I don't know how many of the weapons from this game would carry over to that game. I know a lot of the weapons from Titanfall 1 were in Titanfall 2, and those were the weapons for that game. I would like to see a lot more variety in terms of weapon. I mean, most of, everything that we see in multiplayer these days is either, really quick shooting ARs or SMGs even, or, the really OP weapons, which I really hope they can get a grasp on balance by the time Titanfall 3 rolls around. I think they will. I don't think balance will be as criticized by the community as it is currently, at least. But let's talk about maps. I do hope and pray and I don't know, wish, more synonyms for, you know, hope, that they go the original map route. I originally liked the idea of bringing back maps from the previous game and putting them into, you know, the second game. Unfortunately, in my opinion, some of those maps didn't fit the what the game is essentially for the second game, because the movement system is fundamentally different from the first game, at least. I mean, just some of the maps, like Colony. I think that map, I think it was great in the first game. Don't misconstrue my words. I love that map, especially in the first game, but I don't think it just fits very well for Titanfall 2. I would like to see if this is obviously, of course, if they base Titanfall 3 off of, you know, the movements and all the fundamental gameplay elements of Titanfall 2, which I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Back to my original point anyway, I would like to see original maps. I think that the level design team in general, or specifically is what I meant to say, is very, very talented. I think they can do some really great things, especially given the gameplay and stuff like that. They can work around. I do think that we will obviously get a majority of original maps, at least. I would not be surprised if new or old maps came back. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Glitch returned. You know, the staple maps from the second game. I would be a bit surprised if Titanfall 1 maps come back, unless, of course, they go back to Titanfall 1's movement, which I highly doubt. I really, really hope that it's, you know, 95% original maps. I would like to see more maps. I know that's kind of a tall task, especially the way that they design their maps. I heard or read about, I think, something. The way they design their maps is kind of unorthodox from what I know, at least. So it may be a lot to ask for more maps, which is always kind of, you know, selfish. But, I mean, that's, for gamers, we want to be selfish a little bit. But yeah, just original maps, you know, in greater numbers. I mean, if we could get, you know, 15 maps that play like Glitch does, I think no one would complain. Well, I don't know, somebody's gonna complain. But I wouldn't be, you know, upset if we got Titanfall 2 or even Titanfall 1 maps back into Titanfall 3, for that matter. But I would prefer new original ideas rather than recycling old ideas that, you know, could be dated or don't fit with the gameplay that's being brought to the table in Titanfall 3. So I would like to move away from multiplayer. I would like to talk about my expectations for Titanfall 3 and general expectations for everything, I guess. So we've mentioned release date. I don't expect that game to be out before 2020. I hope it does. I really do. I hope it comes out at least holiday 2019, but I think that's a very big stretch at this point. I do think it will be the most successful game of the franchise. I mean, more people getting into gaming. I mean, the franchise has kind of established itself now. It's not the most popular thing in the world, but I do believe that Titanfall 3 will be the most successful game of the series. So much so that they could justify doing a fourth game if they wanted to. Kind of just, I guess this whole section is about reiterating what I was thinking about before, but I do expect the story to be a sequel, longer, still really good. I would like to see them expand on the story element. I mean, the story itself in Titanfall 2 was good, but I think it could have been a lot better. I think that came out wrong. Let me opinionate for just a second. I don't even know if that's a word, but I do believe that Titanfall 2's story campaign was the best FPS campaign I've ever played. I will put that up against Modern Warfare. What other FPS titles had really good multiplayer, single player? Black Ops 1. That's beside the point. I'm just listing games that don't matter. I think even as good as it was, it could have been better. Is, I think, what I was getting at originally. I think the multiplayer, especially if they keep with the theme that they went with in Titanfall 2, where they released, you know, a DLC pack every, I don't know, what was it, like 3 months or something after release, for like a year. I think it may have been even more frequent than that. I have no idea. I don't remember. But yeah, I think if they can keep that theme where they're releasing, you know, high quality DLC every, you know, 3 months even, I think the longevity for that game would be really great. I think that did wonders for Titanfall 2. I think that the reason the player base was, you know, good for a little bit, at least, was because of the constant, you know, DLCs, and the fact that it was free made it just, you know, cherry on top kind of situation. I do expect there to be microtransactions in the form of cosmetic items. I don't think there's going to be any Titans behind a paywall, any weapons behind any paywalls. I don't think any of that. I firmly believe that Respawn wouldn't do that, at least at this point. I mean, they didn't do it with the second game. If there was ever a time for them to have done it, it would have been the second game, and they didn't. They put, you know, Prime Titans, weapon camos, that kind of stuff. They didn't put maps behind the paywall like they had in the first game. They released everything for free. Everything that was gameplay oriented was free, which was great. I fully expect that to be the same for Titanfall 3. I believe that EA will keep their, let's say, greedy little paws off of the microtransactions for Titanfall 3. Hopefully, at least. I know Vince Zampella said that Respawn's keeping control of what's to be done with Titanfall 3, or at least, you know, their projects that are in development, and I really hope that's true. I think that's about all I have, at least at this point. I know this video is kind of long right now. To, I guess, end it off, I know I've been kind of leaving you guys in the dark a bit, at least, about my my break that I'm wanting to take, that is actually starting today. After this video goes up, I am officially on minimum 2-week break. I don't expect it to be longer than that. I don't expect it to be... Oh, let me rephrase that. If it is any longer than that, it won't be like 2 months or anything like that. I fully expect it to be 2 weeks. There are a few reasons for my my break. First and most importantly is I don't have to, but I'm sending in my Elgato capture card to get an upgraded version for free, so that I don't have to pay for it, because they released software that isn't supported by my current version of the hardware. So I am sending it in. They're going to replace it for free with the newer hardware, and then everything will be good to go. I'm also in the middle of some pretty heavy time constraints with school and such, like in the thick of all my projects and everything, which I will talk about later once I finish those projects. It'll be pretty cool to talk about. Little little hint at things to come, at least. I expect it to be 2 weeks, no more, in theory. They said the process takes about 10 days total process time from the time that I apply to the time that I receive the fixed item. They said it would be about 10 days, and then I would take the extra 4 days or whatever just to kind of have to myself. I do believe I've earned a little bit of time off. I know I don't upload every single day, but let's see here. Let me just check some numbers real fast. I have uploaded 708 videos in the past 2 years. Get the quick math calculator out of here. Over the course of, let's see, 365 times 2, that's very general 2 years number anyway. Over the course of 730 days, I have uploaded 708 videos, which is kind of crazy. I know there were times when I would upload multiple videos a day, and they weren't like the highest quality content and stuff like that. And I kind of am glad that I steered away from that, because now I do believe my content is at least higher quality than before. I do think it can improve, but it's certainly better. I've uploaded every day for the past 32 days, I think, maybe more. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of took a little break in between before the new series started, which, by the way, is going great. I know some people have been saying that it's going a little too fast, and I kind of agree with that, but I wanted to upload every single day for the first half of this series before I took my break, which I succeeded, so hooray for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This video is extremely long, much longer than any commentary video I've ever done. Probably longer than any commentary video I will do. One thing I would like to point out before I get into the outro-ish thing. Outros are terrible. We are slowly but surely approaching 2,000 subscribers, which is kinda crazy. As I'm reading it right now, I'm at 1783, which is kinda cool. I never really expected it to even last this long, much less get that number, so that's kinda cool. Thank you guys for that. I mean, that number wouldn't be that number without people subscribing and watching the videos, so that's kind of your guys' fault. Just kidding. But to end the video and start my break, I would like to say thank you for 2 years of YouTube. I know I would say a majority haven't been here for the full 2 years. Well, that's not obvious. That was kind of stupid of me to say. But whether you've been here 2 years or 2 days, I think I said the same thing, so it's kind of cheesy. I think I said the same thing in the 2-year video announcement thing that I posted in the community tab. Let's see. Yep, whether you've been here for 2 years or 2 days, I thank you regardless. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. But that's the truth. I mean, you know, whether you have been here 2 days or 2 years, it really makes no difference. You still decided to click that little red subscribe button, or click like on the video, or even click on the video. And, you know, that's kind of what keeps this going. I kind of stress about this sometimes with, you know, devoting, you know, time to YouTube when I could be doing other things. But if the numbers keep going up and you know, people still keep watching me play games, I'll still keep doing it because there's no reason to quit. So thank you. That sounded a little cocky in my head a little bit, not gonna lie, but thank you regardless, even if you thought that was cocky too, because that means we're on the same page. I didn't intend it to be cocky, by the way. It just kind of sounded like that in my head. So with that, I will conclude this video by saying, over the course of this 2-week break, I will be at least trying to stream over on Twitch. I have that link everywhere, essentially, now. I will probably put it in the comment section of this video along with timestamps for all the topics and things of that sort. I will be trying to stream somewhat regularly to, I guess, keep the dedicated people, the people who really want to see my content and stuff. They'll be hanging out in the streams like they always do. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you for 2 years. Let's hope for at least 2 more, depending on life. But this video is getting way too long, and I would like to end it right here.